Everybody, Chris here. In this video, we're going to be talking about Dogecoin versus Bitcoin. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when new videos come out as well as when I do live streams. This morning, we did have a bit of a jolt in the crypto market today, thanks to President Trump and putting out a message that there was going to be a 5-day pause on the United States hitting any of the Iran infrastructure as they try and negotiate. Is this going to stop the war or not? We don't know at this point, but the market certainly did a big pump. Dogecoin went up 6% in 5 minutes. A 5-minute jump, 6%, and now settling back a bit. We had Bitcoin coming all the way up to 71.4, now back to 70,600. So that was a nice little change in the current trajectory that was heading lower. And on the liquidations, we ended up with, look at this, $356 million in less than an hour. 356 million over the past 24 hours. It's now at 780 million. So shorts got wrecked because many shorts were guessing that prices were going to go lower. You see these colors here on the Bitcoin chart. When I zoom out, you'll see these colors represent these boxes I was making as I was showing the current bear market trend. And the next move was going to be lower in this red box. And we were headed that way. We were headed that way over the weekend. And from Tuesday of last week, there was this downward trend, and it was heading into the red box, meaning bear market continuation. However, this reversal here, we'll see how temporary that may be. But the one thing about bear markets is, doesn't matter what the news is, they will continue and something else will come along and prices will most likely still go lower. We had gold. Gold was dropping. Now gold is starting to recover a little bit as well, but look at that, $10 trillion in the gold market was lost in 53 days. $10 trillion. That's 5 times the entire market cap of all cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever. Unbelievable. And we look at Bitcoin and we look at the trends, again, looking back from previous lows and going forward, we typically have the bear market continuing a little while longer. We probably have about another 150 days of a bear market based on history. That doesn't mean we will necessarily continue, but the history does tend to repeat, and that means we would have more lower prices going forward. Ali on Dogecoin is saying, look, Dogecoin on the monthly chart, if we look at the trend, 5.3 cent Dogecoin is his target. Get ready to buy. For years, Dogecoin has traded within a wide channel between 5.3 and 45 cents. After hitting the ceiling, it is finally drifting back toward the floor. I'm looking to buy the dip at 5.3 cents. If this floor holds, we could see a 200% rally back to the mid-range. So we will obviously be watching that. Now, is Doge going to go down to 5.3 cents? I imagine there's going to be a lot of buyers coming in at the 6 cent range. And it's going to be really tough for Doge to get down to this level. But hey, everybody's going to be buying Doge there. Now, when to buy Dogecoin? Was that 8.9 cent dip we had last night? Was that the current low? Even though we did hit 8 cents earlier with the big dip that we had in early February, went down to 8 cents. We just touched 8 again, and that's the question before us. So why do I say Dogecoin versus Bitcoin? So this comes from the chart that is the Doge versus Bitcoin chart, which is this chart here. You can see it's been barcoding. The barcoding, that's what we call this when it's pretty much just in a narrow range trading sideways, means that Dogecoin and Bitcoin have been on the same track here. So this goes back a couple weeks. Dogecoin and Bitcoin have been trading pretty much at the same level. Now, when we go to the daily chart and we zoom out a little more, there's a different picture. And that we see that Doge versus Bitcoin has been drifting lower in a downtrend since last September. So over the past 6 or 7 months, we have seen Dogecoin losing ground versus Bitcoin at almost 50%. So that means that Dogecoin versus Bitcoin has been holding up much better in this bear market than Dogecoin. That is expected. So what does this mean? Well, if you're looking to buy on the dip, right, in this bottom of the bear market, of which I'm looking to buy Bitcoin and Dogecoin. I am not buying Bitcoin now. I'm not going to buy any Bitcoin now. I want to have Bitcoin, but I'm not buying Bitcoin now. Why? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two accounts. I'm going to have one which is my Dogecoin account. One's going to be my Bitcoin account. What am I going to do with that Bitcoin account? I'm going to buy Doge. I'm going to buy Dogecoin in that account. When I buy Doge in that account, right now this Doge versus BTC is at 13. The lowest dip that we had was here at the end of January, beginning of February, when it went down to 12.6. So if this chart, Doge versus Bitcoin, goes down to 12, I'm buying Dogecoin in my Bitcoin account. And what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for the time when Dogecoin outperforms Bitcoin on a 50% basis. That's this blue line up here at 24. So when this eventually happens, and we don't know how long this is going to take, but if there's a dip down to 12, I'm buying. Then eventually this will come up and settle, and at some point in time, we're going to have a spike in the price of Dogecoin versus Bitcoin. When this Doge versus BTC price gets to 24, I am going to trade my Doge for Bitcoin. I'm going to do it directly on Coinbase because Coinbase actually has a Doge BTC trading pair, so I don't have to make two trades. Because you make two trades, you have two fees. Or if on Robinhood, you can't do that where you'd have to then sell your Doge. You pay the difference in the pay, right? There's no fee, but you pay it by the spread. And then you buy the Bitcoin and you pay that spread as well. The most convenient way would be on Coinbase, just do that direct trade Doge to BTC. And I have a link in the description below if you want to use Coinbase, either regular or advanced trading. Advanced trading doesn't cost anything extra, but that's where you get that Doge BTC trading pair. So I have a direct link below to join, and you get some free Bitcoin when you join Coinbase. So try that out. But this is what I'm going to do. And this way, $50,000, right? I'm going to buy $50,000. $50,000 will buy me maybe one Bitcoin on the dip, or close enough to one Bitcoin. That was my goal, right? Become a whole coiner again. I still have a little Bitcoin left, so I don't actually have to buy one full Bitcoin. However, if I buy one Bitcoin versus worth of Dogecoin here, then when the Doge BTC trading pair, Doge comes up to 24, I can then swap that Dogecoin for 2 Bitcoin. That's right, 2 Bitcoin. That is my plan, and that's how I am going to play this. Will this work out? We don't know. But we take this Doge BTC trading pair, and we zoom out a little more, we see what happened last December. November into December, Doge versus Bitcoin actually went up over 4 to 48, which is double this blue line. So am I being greedy? Maybe a little bit, but I'm not being this greedy where I'm going to end up with 4 Bitcoin, which is what would be if Doge outperforms Bitcoin again up to the level it was in December 2024. That move, that was when Doge hit 48 cents, the cycle high in the last bull cycle. But I'm not going to be too greedy. I'm going to be happy with this move, and we'll see how that plays out. So that's why Doge versus Bitcoin is what I'm concentrating on right now. I mean, we'll continue to look at the at the existing price now, and we'll be watching the Dogecoin price here, and we'll see if there's a relief rally, and we'll see if there's a lower dip. Like all of that we will be tracking on this channel, as well as Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is going to resolve, right? Are we going to have that move down in Bitcoin to $50,000? That is what the trend would show, but we don't know. I mean, news goes in cycles, and we have a little jolt up today. Will that continue? We'll be watching that going forward. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this theory of Doge versus Bitcoin? Is Chris crazy, or does this kind of make a little sense? Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.